Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar session. My name is Rochelle, and I will be your main host for the next hour. And today, we're going to take a look at the tech opportunities available here at Sky. So just a little bit about me before we move on to the next slide. So I work within the early careers team here at Sky across our software and tech graduate and internship opportunities. So let's have a look at what's happening today. First thing, what we will do is we will start off by giving you an introduction into Sky and who we are, and then we will go on to take a look at our different tech opportunities that are available. And once we've covered this, we'll move on to meeting some of our lovely grads. So you'll hear directly from them about their stories and their journeys. And then once that has been covered, we will then take a look at our application process. After we have finished covering the application process, we will then move on to a short Q&A session. So with that, what I would suggest is if you do have any questions throughout this next hour, please do feel free to write them in the chat, and we will also be monitoring that chat, and we will also pick out your questions for the Q&A section. So feel free to ask any questions, just pop them in the chat and we will answer them as we towards the end of the session. So let's talk about Sky. Now, we are a household brand recognized by millions of people across the UK and Europe. So Sky is a company which prides itself on being a leading entertainment company. And as you can see from the numbers, we are a huge company. We have over 32,000 employees, and with over 24 million customers, there is so much available. We are a business to be proud of and a business that sees the bigger picture. Now, not only this, but we are also master innovators. Now, by this, what I mean is we like to always look at ways to try and improve. So whether that's through our products or our great offerings, we want to be bigger and better. So in order to achieve this, we make sure that we have the strongest team with a deep set of capabilities and great ambitions. So from this slide, you'll probably be able to recognize some of our products on screen. Hopefully you do, and you'll be already familiar with them. Now, we also want to keep our customers informed and up to date with everything. So everything that we do here at Sky, we always ensure that we keep the customer at the forefront of our minds. We're constantly looking for ways to be the best that we can. One way in which we're able to do this is by investing billions of pounds into our content each year, from producing award-winning high-quality original content to partnerships with the likes of Netflix and developing streaming services such as Now and also Peacock. The efforts don't go unnoticed as we are constantly being able to develop and bring something fresh and new to the table. So let's take a little trip down memory lane in terms of some of the things that we have been able to achieve over the last 20 plus years. So if we go all the way back to 2002, this is when we were able to launch Sky Sports, Living for Sport, and we were able to reach a third of secondary schools in the UK and Ireland. And if we fast forward all the way to 2006, this is when we became the world's first carbon neutral media company. Then taking a deep dive all the way up to 2015, Fun fact, we were able to protect 1 billion trees in the Amazon. So we're not only a company who wants to be big and do better, but we also are responsible with what we do in terms of sustainability. Then going all the way up to 2021, we launched our Sky Glass, which is the world's first carbon neutral TV, and something that we are extremely proud of. A lot of hard work went into that, and there were many people from across the business, including some of our grads, who were actually able to work on this, and this could be you in the future. And then just taking a look at what the future will hold for us. By 2030, we are hoping, we're not only hoping, but we will be net zero carbon, and the work won't stop there. So not only that, but what I thought would be important is for us to also take a look at some of the networks that we have available here. So at Sky, we really want to be able to make sure that this is a place where we are diverse and inclusive. We want it to be an environment which represents society. So we always encourage our employees to be able to come out and be themselves. And as you can see here, this is just a few of the networks that we have that exist here at Sky. So for this next section, what we will do now is we will play a little video where you can find out a bit more information about what it's like to be at Sky and just life at Sky in general.
It's really hard to say one thing. I love Sky.
Take it away!
Sky is inclusive,
Energetic, vibrant,
creative, I would say accepting,
lively,
dynamic,
game changer, forward thinking.
I believe in progress.
innovative, exciting.
It's just really interesting. There's a volume of different avenues that you can go down.
There's so much in that Sky umbrella.
You never know where your career's going to go.
It's fun, it's bright, it's vibrant.
It's the Willy Wonka factory.
Fantastic.
Check these out. Here we go.
There's just nowhere that does it like we do.
We're market leaders, we're not followers. We're fans as well as staff. My thing is Sky Cinema.
Original drama.
Mobile, TV, broadband, action thrillers, horrors, sci-fi.
In terms of quality productions, we're smashing them out of the park.
My God, you're good.
But it doesn't stop there. Not only are we making great TV, we're a very collaborative company. We have a lot of different nationalities.
They look at you on what you can do, not what you look like.
Just being who you are.
We are a big family.
To new friends.
I love the challenge of going, I'm going to fix that.
We are problem solvers.
You're trusted to make the right decision.
Autonomy. I am here for one very simple reason.
Free Sky.
The environment and local communities are very important to us.
That is really something that makes Sky special.
Gives me a sense of pride.
This culture of being forward-thinking.
I really like dynamic atmospheres. Thrive on that progression.
It makes me feel wow.
If you've got that mentality, you naturally gravitate towards somewhere like Sky.
I love
Talking about my job to other people because it's so much more than I ever thought it would be. If you have the skills we're looking for,
That's all that matters to us. It's more than just a job.
It ain't a job. I do this for nothing. Cut that out.
Okay, so hopefully that has given you a bit more of an insight into what it's like to work at Sky and where you could potentially be. So let's take a look at our tech opportunities that are available to you. So starting off with our graduate programs, at Sky, we do offer a range of graduate and internship opportunities, covering a vast number of programs. So today we are focusing specifically on tech, In terms of our functional programs, we do offer a software engineering program that is 7 months in duration. And how this works is you would start off by completing a 5-week boot camp, followed by an educational project, which usually lasts around 4 months. And then once you've completed your project, you would then move into a delivery team within software. And then after the 7 months, you would roll off into the business into your role at Sky. Now, alongside our software engineering graduate program, we also offer a DevOps program. So with this program, it's very similar to the software engineering in the sense that it is 7 months in duration and also follows the same pattern. So again, you would start off with your 5-week boot camp, then complete an educational project, followed by working within a delivery team, and then you would roll off into your permanent role. Now, alongside these functional programs, we also have a couple of rotational programs. Now, these are the Technology Rotational Graduate Program and the Cybersecurity Program. Now, with these two particular programs, they are slightly longer in duration, so it takes 2 years. But how they work is that you will complete 4 6-month rotations across the business, and you'll be able to get an experience of working in different roles, which will give you kind of more of a sense and flavor of what it's like to, for example, work as a Scrum Master or a product owner or even a developer. There are so many roles to choose from, and you will be able to kind of get a taste of that during your 2 years on the program. Now, alongside this, we also have summer internships available. So with our summer internships, they do last 8 weeks, and they normally take place in July up until the end of August. And they cover software engineering as well as technology. Now, with our programs, we do have them available in a number of locations. So as you can see, we are available in Livingston. We also have roles in Leeds, at Osterley, and we also have roles in Brick Lane and Brentwood. Now, touching on our summer internships a bit more. So as I stated, it does last 8 weeks. Now, the aim of the summer internship is to really give you a chance to experience firsthand what it's like to work as either a software engineer or a technologist. So you'll come into the program, and you will work on live projects in various delivery teams, which will really enable you to make an impact. You'll also be provided with some guidance and support from our team. So you'll be able to work with people from different levels with different levels of experience. But most importantly, you'll truly start to gain an understanding of the working world, and also be able to develop a flavor of what potential future career in tech you could go down. So it's a really good opportunity for those who want to try something out, and it'll give you a chance to come in, get that experience. And after your internship, there is also an opportunity for you to actually be made an offer to come back the following year to join us on our graduate program. Now, in order to be eligible for our internship programs, you will need to be in your penultimate year of study, and the program will look to begin on the 3rd of July, 2023. So for the next section, what we will be doing is we will be talking to some of our grads who all work in the areas that I have mentioned, and they will let you know a bit more about their story and their journey so far here at Sky. So I would like to introduce you to Grace, who is currently a technology graduate, and she will talk to you about her experience. Over to you, Grace.
Thanks very much, Rochelle. So, hi everyone, it's nice to meet you all. As Rochelle said, I'm a technology graduate at Sky, so I'm on the 2-year rotational programme. So I'll join 4 different teams over the course of my 2 years at Sky, and right now I'm coming up for 5 months in my current team, which is my first rotation. So I came to Sky having studied part-time at the Open University, and I did a degree called Combined STEM, which basically meant you got to like pick all the different STEM modules that interested you. And because there was so much to love in tech, that's why I came to this rotational scheme, so that I could try out lots of different roles. So my first role just now within Sky is as a monitoring engineer. So it's within observability in Sky, and basically Sky is a huge, huge company. The amount of stuff that Sky has on offer. Obviously there's TV and there's broadband, but they've also got, you know, Sky Sports, Sky News, Sky Bet. There's our like all the film and TV channels as well that we do. So there's loads and loads and loads of data coming into Sky at any given moment. And that's all getting monitored by kind of like individual teams. And what my job is we are aiding, basically creating a layer of observability across all of that data, so that when we're solving problems because something's gone down or we're making business decisions, there's a clean dashboard that takes data from all these different sources and shows it in one kind of single pane of glass view, or first pane of glass view. So I work with teams from the UK, Ireland, Germany, Portugal's just coming in, and there's talk of Italy coming in as well. We're mostly online, but I do have some team with me in Watermark as well that I go and sit with. It's a really mixed job, as well as kind of designing the dashboards. We do a lot of kind of work with people to do the kind of requirements gathering and finding out not just, oh, what do you want a dashboard to do, but finding out the problem, like what is it they're trying to solve, and then we design a dashboard based around that. We do a bit of back and forth, and then I'll have a look at Grafana and we'll ingest all the data and we'll create the dashboard in there. I also get to do some coding as well. We program like automatic deployment of these dashboards in Terraform. And then I do kind of lots of ad hoc jobs as well, so setting up new proxies and adding new data ingests. It's a really good mix of technical and people problems with this rotation, and it's been great to meet so many different teams within Sky from here. We got to pick our rotations at Sky. If you do the technology rotation, it's not like a list that's given to you and you're getting told you're going here, you're going here. You get to choose where you go. So monitoring basically talks to every team within Sky, so it's put me in a great position to pick my next rotation. And my next rotation is going to be as a Java developer, so I'm starting that next month. And I just reached out to someone in that team to find out if they'd be interested in having a grad. Pretty much everyone I've spoke to is interested in having a grad. Teams are really keen for you to get involved and join them. So yeah, that is my journey at Sky so far. I think if you're looking to apply at Sky, so a lot of people I think are really, really keen to show off their technical skills in the interviews, and that's great. It's really important to have a passion about tech, but Sky's interviews are also, they're very, very people focused, and we want to make sure you're a great cultural fit. And we want to see your kind of team skills and your soft skills as well. So if you're applying and you're in an assessment centre, you know, make sure you show off all the other non-technical skills that you've got as well, because they're really important at Sky. And I'll pass you over to my next colleague.
Thank you, Grace. So right now we are going to take a look at our DevOps and Site Reliability Engineer programs. So to speak to you today, we have Brian and Matthias.
Hi everyone. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the DevOps scheme. It's a very unique scheme. Some say one of its kind, really. So it's been revamped for this year, where we're a team consisting of only grads and apprentices, which, as you can imagine, especially being the first year we do things, is challenging at times, but it's in a good way, right? In a good way. So we get the chance to do things that normally would already be in place, or get the chance to do things that a principal engineer would, for example, do. Basically things that are pretty complex, and we get given a lot of help, but you wouldn't get this kind of exposure to things anywhere else.
Oh, Matthias, it seems
Did he cut out? I think his microphone may have died. I'll carry on with alongside Matty. Are you back?
I mean, I'm using my MacBook microphone.
So. Carry on then.
Brilliant. Right, so well, I guess I'll start from the beginning. We're a team consisting of only 12 grads and 2 apprentices, so there's no one else. There's no one else on this team apart from our manager, who used to be a grad 4 years ago, and this is the first year we actually do this scheme. So as you can imagine, it comes with a lot of opportunities where we do things that normally would already be in place, or we do things that a principal engineer would do, for example, such as building our cloud infrastructure from scratch. Wherever you go on a graduate scheme, I guarantee that will already be in place, and you'll just be maintaining it, maybe adding a feature or two. But in this scheme, we actually have to build everything from scratch, and it's part of a learning process. So whereas we're working on Google Cloud at the moment, there will be opportunities for other people on the team to work on Amazon Web Services and other cloud providers in the future. Our manager kind of handpicks whatever's best for our development, which I think is very tailored and very kind of specific to helping us improve our skills. And yeah, I'll let Brian talk a little bit about our other projects.
Yep. So hi, I'm Brian. I'm a graduate from the University of Surrey. I did computer science and business management there. Similar to Matty, so I work with Matty on a day-to-day basis. We're both associate site reliability engineers / DevOps, so we're both on the DevOps program. So a few of our projects that we're working on, it's the 2 projects that I do want to emphasize is the one that both Matty and I are working on. So, for example, we're working on a system that is from the ground up, that is designed to replace an existing system in the department. So we're replacing a system where engineers do weekly checks, and all of those checks are done manually, and we're trying to automate all of that with a friendly user interface and automate all those checks, so it makes it easier on the whole department. So this is an example of a project that our manager handpicked for us. And with that is that we got to explore a lot of the technologies. And for example, our project focuses on 4 key points. The front end, so what you see as the user, the back end, what is under the hood of a website, the cloud engineering, how are we making this website accessible to all the users, and automation, how can we simplify the lives of our engineers. And this really comes down to what we do on a day-to-day basis as a site reliability engineer, or SRE / DevOps. We kind of separate both development and operation teams. So traditionally, these 2 teams would be separate, and we're a combination of both roles, where now we're both aware of how the application is being developed and how it's being deployed, and we use tools to automate these processes. It facilitates the whole, there's no blaming in the sense of if something goes wrong when developing an application, we don't have to worry. We know both sides of it. There's no one side pointing at the other, oh, you wrote bad code, or oh, you don't know how to deploy my application. We are doing both of those, and it just makes a stronger, well, it cuts out the middleman of communication in between, and it makes a stronger team overall. I think on the topic of Google Cloud Platform, as Matthew mentioned, we do get training for all of that. So our manager organizes these trainings for us to learn more about the Google Cloud Platform. So we have access to training materials and teachers and we're all studying for the Google Cloud Platform Associate Cloud Engineer Certificate. That's a long title. And I think on the pictures on the right, you can see that we visited the Google offices. I think that's the King's Cross office. So we were there for, I think, 2 or 3 days, and just there to study, learn more about how the Google platform works. And we're regularly invited to these kind of events. So I think in December, we went to a Google event, and coming up, we're going to a Amazon Web Services event. Yeah.
I think it's also worth adding that while Brian and myself were both computer science graduates, it was intentional in design that half of us on the team would be sort of from a non-technical background to increase diversity of thought. So we have actually half our team is from a completely, like, they're either switching careers or they didn't study computer science at university at all. That's, I think, intentional to, as I say, increase that kind of diversity. And the second thing I wanted to raise is after the 7 months, I know the 7 months kind of seemed a bit off to me at the beginning. I was a bit scared, it's a bit short. But the whole process, I guess, the whole scheme is designed with learning in mind first, and then you being able to go into any team, into the department you want. So the way it's working right now, as part of our projects, we have to network with our team. I'll say it's all kind of like planned by our manager, that our project would force us to network with every team across the department, and that's how we make connections with managers, with other co-workers. We inquire what they do in their teams, and after the 7 months and a bit after, when the manager thinks you're ready and you're ready for that kind of position, you move on to a team that interests you the most. So it's all quite interesting in that kind of aspect. It's definitely unique. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, 100%. I think we can just finish off with just a few hints and tips of how to get this job, essentially. I think we value culture a lot. Culture is the key thing. Everything is revolved around culture.
It's 50-50, I think, right? I think that's what the higher management is telling us always. It's 50-50 between work and culture at our place. So, and it's heavily incentivized to show your character and to be yourself.
Yeah, 100%. So I think Matty goes to play football every Thursday. I get to do some fun activities just around the department. I do photography, for example. I'm allowed to do photography for events. It's heavily emphasized that's part of the job. It's not something that you would do outside of your work hours. It's something that you do during work hours. And I think for both Matty and I, we're both happy with that because, well, we don't just spend 35 hours just sitting on our desk, just doing pure dev work. We get to socialize with other departments. We get to socialize with a lot with our team as well.
Yeah, every day's a ton of fun. And I remember what stuck in my head from when I was applying was on that video you saw the guy at the end saying, he'll do it for free. And I thought, damn, funny joke, but end of the day, as it turns out, it's actually like the challenge drives you so much that you actually want to complete some things, and it's really cool in that regard. So
I think that's all from us, Matty. Yeah, I think we're going to carry on with, is it software engineering? I think Zita is going to present software engineering for you guys.
Yes, so thank you very much, Brian and Mateus, for giving us insight into DevOps and your world. So next we have Zita, who will be talking about software engineering.
Hi, welcome everyone. So I don't come from a traditional computer science background. I came through a scheme that's called Get Into Tech, and this scheme was aimed at women to get more involved in tech roles. So it was a 15-week, a very intense boot camp where we learned all the basics from PHP to some databases and CSS, HTML, but it wasn't that in-depth. So it was just enough to teach us and to poke our curiosity, and it was on us to learn more about programming and to see if this is something we wanted to do. And I wanted to get into the grad scheme. So I applied for the grad scheme, and luckily I got into it. So as Rochelle mentioned, it's a 7-month program. The first 5 weeks are just a boot camp where the Get Into Tech ladies and the graduates work together. So we learned about Java, Spring Boot, and some continuous deployment, but also the front-end side, because it's aimed for for both front-end and back-end software engineers. It's just a way to enable us to learn the tech domain and to make sure that when we actually roll off the scheme, we know what we are dealing with. Towards the end of the bootcamp, we were introduced to various teams, and we were encouraged to network ourselves as well. So we could meet other senior developers, other departments, and we could choose where we wanted to do our education project. Now, the education project is something that's really brilliant and I think unique for Sky. It's basically a project, a real project, but in a very safe environment. That means that you can't go wrong. You have all the support you need. For example, my education project was a full stack project where we had to develop a demo app for a real delivery team. So we worked with that team closely. We attended their stand-ups and their retros, and we listened to their needs, and they told us if we had to do something differently. So they were there to support us and teach us. And that lasted 4 months. Now, after that, we could choose a department where we wanted to go. And I joined the department called Global Video Platform. And now this is specific for this department, and it won't be for every department, but I had to do another educational project because they wanted us to learn the tech stack specific for that department. And it was quite a lot of programming, but also continuous delivery, and also monitoring, alerting, and that aspect of the job that wasn't covered through the first 5 weeks. And this was very useful, and we could shadow other teams. We could get some in-depth knowledge about how the department works, what's the purpose of the whole department. And finally, I chose a team called Wave, where I am for the past year now. This is a backend team. We mainly work with Java, but also we have to work with the SRE teams. We have to use alerting and monitoring systems. We have to think about security. So it's not just coding. It's like I would say an interdisciplinary job. So my tip would be to be open. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because I think it's a very good trait to ask questions, because that's your way of deepening your knowledge. And also the whole department is very, very supportive. You could go and approach someone on Slack and ask them something, and they would help you with either some books or links, or just they would schedule a meeting with you, and they are there to help you. And if you are applying, I would practice coding, obviously, because one of the steps is codility. At least it was for me. And yeah, and that's your time to show off your coding skills. That's from me.
Thank you very much, Zita. So I hope you all enjoyed hearing directly from our grads and really being able to try and visualize what it will be like if you decide to join us on one of our graduate opportunities. So for the next section, what we're going to do now is we will take a deep dive into our application process. So this is our application process at a glance. Now, how it works is the first thing you would need to do is to simply submit an application. Now, one thing for me to point out to you is that we do not ask for a CV or a cover letter, we simply ask you to fill out an online application form, and this will consist of your personal details and some educational details. So that is the first step, and hopefully that is some good news to you all. And now, in order to do this, you would simply have to go onto our website. You can find all of the information about the range of programs that we have available if you want to kind of find out some more information before you go ahead and apply. And then once you've applied, you would then enter the application process. So it is completely digital, and it consists of four steps if you are applying for a technology-based role. So the first assessment that you will look to complete is what we refer to as our online immersive assessment. Now with this, it aims to really test your sky fit. Now it will give us an insight into your skills and just you in general. So it'll be really your reasoning and thought processes, and it will also help to give you an insight into Sky as a company and how we work. So that's the first assessment that you will look to complete. Now it is not timed, but we do encourage you to try and complete it sooner rather than later. So if you can find a quiet space and complete it in one go, that would be good. So after you've completed your OIA assessment, you would then move on to complete a coding test. Now, something for me to point out to you, as you can see at the bottom, is the coding test is only applicable for those who are looking to apply for our software engineering role or our DevOps engineering role. Okay, so with that, you will have a coding test that Zita mentioned she went through herself, and you will also have to go through a test. Now, it is timed, and with the coding test, you will be able to select the language in which you'd like to complete the task. So I will go into some more details around the coding test in the next slide, but just to give you an idea. It's a timed test, and the reason why we include this is because we will need to be able to have a look at your coding experience in order to kind of get an understanding of your level and where you're at. So after the coding test, the next step in the application process would be our job simulation. Now, the job simulation is similar to the OIA assessment, which was the first digital assessment. But with this one, it will take on a more interactive and immersive feel. So when you go in to complete it, you'll be presented with some real life scenarios, and then we would like to see how you would deal with those situations. So there'll be a number of mixed medias involved. So it will involve ranking answers, there'll be some slides, and there will also be some video responses included. Now, if you pass those stages successfully, we would then invite you to the final stage of the application process, which would be our assessment center. Now, the assessment center is really a chance for us to look at your technical skills, but also to kind of get to know you in general. We'll also look at a number of your soft skills as well. A lot of the time you will be working in pairs, so may involve paired programming, or you will work in small groups. And this will really kind of give us a chance to kind of see you in person. With our assessment centers, we are running them virtually as well as in person. So there is a mix, and it's available to all of you, but it is meant to be a fun experience for you to go through. There will be a task or different tasks available, and as I said, we don't want to create a stressful environment for you. We want to be able to kind of see you, see your skills, but also want you to really enjoy it and start to get a feel of what it would be like working within your tech role. So if you manage to pass the assessment center stage, we would then look to make you an offer to join one of our programs. Now on this slide, just to help you visualize what the digital assessments will look like, this is an example of our OIA. So this is the first digital assessment that you would go in to complete. So you'd be presented with a number of different tiles, and it will cover a number of subjects and areas across the business. So when I spoke about you really being able to get to know us as a company, this is exactly what I mean. Now, with the coding test, as I mentioned, you will have the chance to select your language in order to complete the test. There are generally around 3 to 4 tasks that you would have to complete, and we want it to be comfortable for you. So although it is timed, we do give you an extended amount of time to complete the test. Now, the one thing that I would say is when it comes to the coding test, before you go in to complete it, we do actually have a demo test available for you to try. So this is pretty much a practice test, and it will help you to get used to the coding environment if you haven't used Codility before. So you'll have some questions and some tasks as well. We would advise you to complete that first, and then once you're ready, go in and complete the real test. Now, what I will stress is when you are completing the coding test, once you do click on it to begin, you need to complete it in one go. So again, make sure you set aside a reasonable amount of time to complete the test and complete it in one go. Now, in order to help you through the application process, what we have introduced this year, which is something new, is what we refer to as our preparation hub. So you will be sent a link to the hub once you have created your application, and essentially you will be able to find out some more hints and tips. There'll be videos for you to watch, and then we will also have a practice zone available where you will be able to practice completing the digital assessments such as the OIA and the job sim. So it's a simulated environment which will replicate what you will actually be completing in your application process. So it's definitely something that we also advise that you do take a look at if you're not too sure, you're a bit nervous before you start your assessments. And of course, there will always be support available to you. You can contact us directly through our emails, any questions that you have, and we're always willing to help you along the way. Okay, so that is the application process in a nutshell. Now, if you do have any questions or you would like to find out more information about that, again, just pop your questions in the chat. But also what we do run usually on a bi-weekly basis is we do have some sessions on the application process for some of our programs. So you can join those sessions and hear more about it in order to kind of help you prepare for that. So we have about 15 minutes, so we're good with timing. And so if there are any questions at all, as I mentioned, now is the time for you to put them in the chat and we will be willing to answer them for you. So I will hand it over to Anam, who has been monitoring the chat and speaking to you.
I don't know if we've still got Anam on the call. I think she's maybe dropped an internet connection.
Okay.
Sorry, oh, it dropped for like a second there at the wrong time.
Okay.
So were we looking at questions? Sorry, I missed that.
Yes, so we are going to have take a look at the questions that we have from the audience. See,
Okay.
Annam, I know you have been keeping an eye out on the chat. Are there any questions?
There are. Some of them have been answered, but I'll start off with one from Ahmed, and he was just asking about the coding assessment and for the software engineering program, if there's any programming language that are compulsory or minimum to know. And I can answer that for you. For the initial task, you are required to do one of the tasks in CSS, and the rest of them you can choose from. I'm just going to double check. You can choose from C, C++, C hashtag, Java 8, Java 11, JavaScript, Kotlin, Objective-C, PHP, Python, Ruby, or Scala. So I will put this in like a reply so you can see that, because I know there's a lot of them. But those are what you can look into. Another question. I'm studying information systems. Will I also need to do a coding test? My interest is in the technology program. Again, I can answer that and let you know that you don't need to have any coding knowledge for the technology program. This one is not particularly required for that. Doreen, you've asked about being a data scientist and if there's any internships for that. I don't believe there's any internships for the data science program. Am I right, Rochelle?
Yes, that is correct. So at the moment, we don't offer an internship opportunity within data science. However, we do have an internship available for data and analytics, and we also have a new graduate program as well for data science. So if that is something that you're interested in, perhaps in the future, I would definitely say take a look at our website where we have some more information available about the new data science program. And we will also be running an insight event within the next few weeks in regards to that program.
Thanks, Rochelle. The next question is from Matthew. He's asking if we are paid for the 7 months courses, which are software engineering, graduate program, and DevOps, and what the basic rate is for London. Again, Rochelle, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So yes, you are paid whilst you are on your graduate program. It's important. Essentially, you are working in a full-time role. So you will receive your monthly salaries. In terms of the basic rates, unfortunately, I'm not allowed to reveal that information to you as of yet. If you are in the process and you reach the assessment center, then we would be able to discuss further. But at this moment in time, we are not able to reveal the salary. Sorry.
Thank you, Rochelle. Another one I've got from Kaushik. He had applied and gone through the application process before. He wasn't successful at the job simulation stage, and he wasn't given specific feedback. So what he'd like to know is any advice on how to perform well, because in his experience, most of them were quite open-ended and the approach would differ person to person. So is there any specific tips on the job simulation stage?
Okay, now in terms of tips, I think what I will do before I give my input, just to check, would any of our grads like to, since you have been through the process yourselves, do you have any tips or advice for anyone who is currently at that stage?
Yeah, I think with the job simulation stage, I think a lot of people overthink it and they try and put the answer that they think that Sky wants to receive rather than putting the answer that you actually would do. As Sky is an organisation where, we are heavily focused on who you are as a person, not just your technical skills. It's about like your different experiences. There's so many people from a broad range of backgrounds at Sky who are all brilliant in their technical roles, even though they've come from being a teacher. One of my colleagues was a primary school teacher before he came here. I went to the Open University. Another colleague was a mechanical engineer. So when you're applying, don't sit and Google and sit and think, right, Sky wants to hear this answer. Do give your natural answer, because we are looking to get to know you as a person.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Grace. So hopefully that was some very useful information. And just to kind of reiterate what she said, with the job simulation, as we said, it's aimed to kind of create an environment and to help make you think as though you are already working at Sky. So put your Sky thinking cap on and answer the questions how you would. Stay true to yourself and give an answer that is natural to you.
Thanks, guys. Another question we have from Doreen is if we offer sponsorship for people who get full-time jobs after the graduate schemes. We don't offer visa sponsorships at Sky, but she's asking particularly after the full-time role is over, so I'm guessing after the graduate scheme is over. I'm not sure what the answer would be, so Rochelle, do you know?
Yeah. Now, in terms of sponsorship, once you have completed your graduate program, that is something that would be looked at on a case-by-case basis. So there is a chance that I cannot guarantee to you at this moment in time that it's a definite yes. It is something that you would be looked at on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you. We've got some people asking if master's students can apply for the graduate program. Yes, you can. The only requirement you need to apply to our graduate programs is a degree from any discipline. So if you're in your master's years, as long as you've obviously finished your master's by the time you've started the job or you've got the job, which is July, August, that should be fine. Just obviously because you can't study at the same time as working full time. But yeah, you can apply. There was a question from Alice. I'd like to know the level of the coding test. Is it a medium level of leak code problems? Do one of the grads want to answer this?
I can't really remember the assessment test too well. I remember, if I had to give one bit of advice, on the emails they do mention the technology or the language they expect you to write your practice tests in. This is what most likely will come up on the actual assessment, like your proper one. So does that. I think if you are knowledgeable in that language or in that technology, it should be doable. So yeah, definitely have a look at it before you attempt the proper assessment test.
Thank you. I've got a question asking how long the application process usually takes.
So mine was done in less than a month, if I can answer again. So for me, it went really quick. But I think other people within the team, it was quite a weird intake process, right? Where some of us got the offers in December, and some of us got offers in March, some of us got offers in June. But for me personally, it was really quick.
I think mine took a bit longer. I think it took 2 or 3 months, since there's, I think, around 6 stages, was it? I'm not sure. It was multiple stages and had to wait in between. I think they were still going through all the other applicants and then going to the assessment center afterwards.
Yeah, I think mine was about 2 months. I'm in the technology scheme, so we don't have a coding test, but we do still have an assessment centre. Once I did the assessment centre on the Friday, and I had a phone call on the Monday to tell me the result.
Thank you. Let's see what else we have. We've got some asking about the assessment itself. One person has asked, what type of questions do you recommend practicing for the code assessment? I'm not sure if, Matthias, you already answered that. And a similar one is, what is the hardest data structure we would be expected to use?
I don't think they'll ask about anything overly innovative. I think it's mostly the foundation that they want to know that you know. So it will be stuff that, well, you would probably use quite frequently when you're on the job. So I think having a basic understanding of all the like technologies they might ask about would be a good start.
I feel at the same time, we do have a different coding test in DevOps than the one in software engineering, so we might not be able to give you the full context/image of how hard it would be for software engineering.
Okay, thank you. Someone has written this. Both DevOps and software engineering programs have a 5-week bootcamp. As far as I understand, is that correct? And you expect 7-month full commitment. And how much the salaries are. So yes, both the DevOps and software engineering have 5-week bootcamp initially. So the whole program is 7 months long. And you do have the initial 5-week bootcamp. After that, you have a 3-month educational project. And then for the rest of the time, it is you're just going to be part of the wider team with the Software Engineering Academy. And once you have finished the 7 months program, you are rolled off into a permanent position at Sky as well. And in terms of salaries, as Rochelle said earlier, we can't actually disclose that information, unfortunately.
What I will add to Alan's response there is essentially think about it like this. Once you join your graduate program, that is you've already got a permanent role. So you are starting your career. You will have your graduate salary, and then once you have finished, then you would go on to your new permanent role, and there will be discussions that will take place in the background. So in terms of salary, it isn't something that you should be concerned with, honestly, right now. I think what you need to establish for yourself is whether the program is right for you, in terms of the career path that you want to go down, and then take it from there.
Thank you, Rochelle. I think we have 2 more questions. Okay, fine. One more question. Somebody just replied back to that question for us already. It's from Kaushik asking about the data science programs, if there is a coding test for that, and how important is it to have a first-class degree in your undergrad. So what I can say for that is we're not particularly part of that team, but there is a coding test for the data science and data analytics programs. The coding test is different to the ones that the software developers would have or the DevOps team would have. So I can't talk too much about that, and neither would the grads be able to say too much about it. But you can always email earlycareers@sky.uk and we'll be happy to look into that for you. And how important it is to have a first-class degree, and if 2-1s get accepted, yes, that is, everyone does get accepted as long as you've passed. It's not, we don't look at whether you've got first class or 2-1. As long as you've got a degree in any discipline, that is all you need to actually apply for the graduate programs. For the 7-month scheme, are any accommodation costs subsidized for myself, or do I have to sort something out on my own?
Now, in terms of the support that is offered for graduates, we do offer a relocation loan that is available for you if you require it. So what will happen is that we would contact you after you have accepted our offer, and we would get in contact with you to arrange and find out if there is any support that is needed. So you can then mention it to us, and then we'll be able to let you know what we can do in order to offer you support.
Thank you, Rochelle. I think that's, we just had a last minute question. We'll answer this last question, and I think we'll wrap it up. At the first stage, it's an assessment test. Does it include logical reasoning, abstract reasoning tests, and so on?
So through the assessment process, there is, if you've applied for any other graduate roles, you'll be familiar with the kind of questions. There is like numerical tests and logical tests at the early stages, yeah.
Thanks, Grace. When can we start applying for these programs? I'll just let you know that we have got our applications still open for the software engineering and DevOps programs. So if you visit Early Careers, for Sky Early Careers, you'll be able to find them on there and apply online for that. I think the deadline is in February sometime. Am I correct, Rochelle?
So that's where our next slide comes in. Just some key dates and information for you all to know. So as Anna stated, with our programs, we do still have some available and still open. So if you are interested in one of those programs, so specifically software engineering or for DevOps engineering, then please do not delay in applying. We do also have some roles available for technology, but it depends on the location that you are interested in. So again, just have a look at our website. All of the information is there. The closing dates do vary, but the earliest closing dates is actually from the 22nd of January, and that is for software engineering. So if that is something that you are keen on, please get your application in. It's just that initial form where you need to complete your personal details and your educational details, and that's in. Make sure you have your application in before the deadline date, or else if it passes, you'll have to wait until next year. So please don't wait, don't delay. Get your applications in, and of course, as I mentioned, if you do need any further support or have any more questions, then do feel free to attend our Insight events, get in touch with us, and we will do our best to help you throughout the entire process. Now, in terms of our internship opportunities, again, it is available only for students in their penultimate year of study. Now, with this, you have a slightly longer period of time before the closing date, which will be on the 19th of March. But again, applications may close earlier based on the level of interest. So don't delay. We will look to start to run assessment centers for the internships from this month onwards. So again, get your applications in, and then if you go through the process, if you are successful, we will invite you to the next assessment center. So that is all from all of us here at Sky. I would like to just say thank you very much for everyone who has stayed on this webinar. Hopefully all of the information has been useful to you and has kind of given you more clarity in terms of what is out there and what you could possibly venture into. So if you would like to find out some more information, again, just go onto our website, earlycareers.co.uk, or send us an email, and hopefully we will speak to you all soon. Very best of luck and goodbye.